How was your 2023? For us, life was good when 2023 started. If you know Trophy, you know that if you ask him how's it going, most of the time he's going to say, I can't complain. If you're not familiar with that expression, it means that no matter how rough things may be, he always looks at the bright side, and because of that, he knows that he's blessed and thinks that he has nothing to really complain about. And that's kind of how this year went for us. It had big ups and big downs. We had known each other for 3.5 years at the start of 2023, and we were as inseparable as ever. The Ramen Spot was 6 months old, and although it started off as a Destiny podcast, it was already starting to evolve. We didn't know what it was evolving into, but we went along for the ride, trying all kinds of different things out over the year on the way to finding our voice. We also had started the process of moving on from the gaming clan that Trophy had built over the past 10 years in order to focus on what we were building here. At the same time, we made many great new friends in real life, got to experience new things, but also had bigger challenges in our personal lives than we've ever faced. For a while, we weren't sure what the future really held for us. And in a way, we still aren't. We're going through things one day at a time. But in so many ways, we are blessed. At times, we even have enough to give to others. We truly can't complain. Video games aren't only about what was released this year or what you finally got around to playing. How you and I experienced these games is very much about how life was going for you when that game came into your life. This is why for our year-end video from us at the Ramen Spot, we want to give a much more personal look at the games we loved this year and how they affected our lives. But let's start at the beginning, when 2023 was fresh and new. Friends and family were happy and healthy, and life was good, which was reflected in the first game Shiny and I loved this year.
This is basically all I do in this game. Now don't get it twisted, there's lots to do in Tchia, but I swear any chance I get, I put all those other activities to the side and just sail. It's just so damn peaceful. At the time that we played this game, we were both looking for something different. We could feel this longing in our real lives and in our gaming lives. We had been running a Discord with thousands of people, and we moved to a Discord with around 50. It was like moving from the city to a quiet, sleepy town. Where your days used to be filled with noise and hustle, now you just have old friends and peace. It was a huge change for us that we're still adjusting to almost a year later. Along with that change would come a huge shift in the games that we played. You know when you have that feeling inside that you need something new? After so long playing such big games that we were used to, we started the year off playing and loving small indie experiences. Games that can be very short, but are also very powerful and leave you with stories that you won't soon forget. This was very new to us. A game like Donut County, an indie passion project that came out in 2018, is a funny little puzzle game that sees you controlling holes in order to gobble up everything in every level. It's all presented in a mildly sarcastic but very humorous style that pretty much anyone can enjoy, and comes with a soundtrack that has no right to go this hard. It's not a long game, you can finish the whole thing in just a few hours, but none of that matters when the game is this good. When life is going well, and you want to enjoy the chill vibes in your game time, this is the perfect game to fit that mood. And on the other hand, if you're anything like us, you also enjoy the saddest vibes a game can offer you. Like a classic sad song or even having a good cry. Just because something makes you feel down doesn't necessarily mean that it's not uplifting. I don't know if that really makes any sense, but in the same way that a gray, rainy day is what makes me feel cozy, 2020's The Last Campfire captures that feeling of sadness and embraces it in a big, warm hug. You play as Ember, a kind of spirit guide who finds souls that have given up and are lost, and you try to help them, and when they are ready, help them find the strength to move on. For us, playing this game was so surprising because in many ways, it's exactly the opposite of something like Donut County. Instead of being bright and cheerful and full of color, it's very dark and moody. The game has the saddest narrator you will ever hear, often sounding like she is one tremble away from bursting into tears at any moment. But despite all that, the game gives us only good vibes as we really enjoyed the puzzles that are never too difficult, the characters that are always charming, and the music that's just incredible. It's always great to be having a good time in life and also finding games that are not necessarily new, but are new to you, that fit your vibe and allow you to enjoy life even more. Tchia came right alongside our time with these beautiful experiences, a brand new release in March 2023. We were promised a cozy game that plays with the ability to possess animals and objects in the world of an island girl from New Caledonia, but what we actually got was an expansive open world with activities and gameplay as varied as Grand Theft Auto, along with a moving story that helped me learn all about a culture I had never heard of, along with a slight hint of the supernatural. I love when games, or just media in general, does that. Injects its story and world with something you can really learn from. I think it's the best way to experience these new ideas. And this game, more than any other I played this year, embodied that quality, with some time being spent conserving the beauty of nature, learning about New Caledonian customs, listening to native music, and participating in festivals, even cooking indigenous recipes. You explore the islands for buried treasure. You dive the shallow waters for pearls and giant clams. But for me, the activity that meant the most was simply sailing. From one place to another or just for no reason at all. There is a fast travel system in the game, but I never used it. How could I and risk missing a view like this? Tchia helped us navigate the uncertainty we face coming into 2023 and really open our minds up to welcome new challenges and new experiences. The first of these new experiences came in the form of
One of the biggest challenges of running a gaming channel is finding a way to present your unique voice and point of view in the games that you play. Listening to other creators talk about what they love about a gaming experience that they had, something that they are truly passionate about, that's what we love to hear and what really excites us about creating videos on our own. We've heard all the discourse around this game, but when we play a game, we go in with no preconceived notions. We want to experience what these talented developers have to offer. And really, having Giancarlo Esposito as the face of the game was all we needed to try the game out. We had not played a Far Cry game before, so everything here was fresh and new to us. Right off the bat, let me say that I'm not a fan of gore in media. Like, I'm not squeamish, but a lot of the violence and viscera displayed in games and movies is just too much. However, just a few minutes into Far Cry 6, I'm watching an alligator maul a fascist in the most gory way possible, and I can't help but laugh. In fact, every murderous animal that you befriend in this game is an entertaining mix of ultra-violence and sarcastic humor that we found refreshing. Chicharron lives forever. The game's narrative of a fictional Caribbean island nation's rebellion against a dictatorship absolutely hit home for us, as the events of the past few years have definitely shown that this type of tyranny is never too far off in nations all around the world, and learning about how it happens and how you can fight back using whatever resources you have is important for all of us. Like Trophy always says, the best education comes mixed in with really good entertainment. like something sweet that helps the medicine go down. The game's main characters are all very nicely written and voiced, providing both laughs and real emotion to show both sides of living and dying for your homeland and people. And then there's Diego. I'm getting emotional. I was not ready at all for what I would experience following the son of the dictator Anton Castillo through this story in Far Cry 6. When you first encounter Diego, you don't know who he is, and it doesn't matter. He's just a kid trying to escape war, just like you. Trying to help him almost costs you your life and leads to a series of interactions with a teenage boy as you fight to depose his father. In fact, Diego winds up being the key to finally turning the tide of the war, and it's all because when you didn't even know who he was, you showed a person in need an act of kindness. Diego's story really, truly broke me. After the credits rolled, Trophy watched me sit in stunned silence for what felt like forever and was probably about 40 minutes. He was just a kid. Not only that, he was a good kid, trying his best to appease his father for the sake of his people, despite the way the dictator truly saw him, either an organ donor or the vessel for his legacy. I still haven't been able to work up the courage to jump back in and get through the post-game section of Far Cry 6, not because it isn't fun or engaging, but because of Diego's tragedy. It really got to me. Maybe one day I'll tell you all more about it. You never know where the stories that truly touch you or can bring you to tears are going to come from. You know, the ones that really enrich your life and give you hope. We got a dose of that this year from a gorgeous animated short film that we watched called The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. I bawled like a baby all the way through and felt that message in my soul. We got another dose from the heartbreaking Nick Offerman episode of The Last of Us TV show, which, if you've watched it, you already know what we're talking about. And we got a dose of it from Far Cry 6. I know the internet in general dismissed this as just another Ubisoft open world, another iteration of the same game, but if you go into it with an open mind like we did, maybe you'll see the gorgeous and funny and violent and uplifting story that we saw. If you consider recommendations from friends to be the best kind like we do, consider this one getting the full recommend from us to you. Another favorite we loved this year came from a recommendation as well, which was
Divinity Original Sin 2, the title that until very recently was the title that Larian Studios was most known for. An up to 4-player co-op turn-based RPG. Technically, its classification is a computer role-playing game or CRPG. Now, us here at the Ramen Spot got our hands on this game early this year after I'm taking full credit here, introduced this game to the group. The main selling point being, it's a 4-player co-op turn-based RPG. That's a no-brainer for us. We love RPGs at the Ramen Spot, and being able to play one with friends? Well, that's just the icing on the cake. And although we went on the same journey together, this game's gonna hold a special place in my heart, and I'll tell you why. Let's take it back to 2014. Bungie just released their new IP called Destiny. At the time, it was impossible not to know who Bungie was, especially after the craze that was Halo 3. And as someone that mainly plays on PlayStation, seeing Bungie release something on the console that I play on instead of just Xbox left me both curious and excited. So I pick it up day one and I was not disappointed. Everything just felt right. The gunplay, the abilities, the different classes. I did not want to put this game down. A few months into the game, and a friend of mine says that he knows somebody that's looking to do a raid, and he has a spot open. He asked me if I wanted the spot, and I said, of course I do. So my friend takes me to his friends group, and I introduce myself to 4 other people I've never met before, including Shiny Trophy. I mean, that wasn't his name back then, he's changed it since, but that's how you all know him, so we're gonna stick with that. Now, don't ask me how that raid went because it was about 10 years ago, so I don't remember. But I do remember that afterwards, friend requests were sent and the rest was history. Now, the story about how I met Fox is not that spectacular. I know Shiny's already talked about how he met Fox on one of his previous videos, but from my point of view, Fox just showed up one day and was a part of the group. Ray. Now, by the time Fox joined, Destiny 2 was already in full swing. The Red War was being fought, and Cade was getting blasted in his mechanical skull. Not only that, but what was seemingly a small group of friends grew into an entire community, all connected by playing Destiny 2. So, things should be great. There's a lot of people, I have a lot of friends that I can connect with to play this game that I love. Except, I stopped loving the game. I wasn't having as much fun with Destiny 2 as I used to. Now, the reasons I would eventually stop playing Destiny 2 altogether, I won't go into here. But after months and months, after years of me trying to reignite the spark that I had for this game, I had to face the fact that it was gone and there was no getting it back. So I put it down for good. Now, I couldn't bring myself to play Destiny again, which inadvertently meant that I stopped playing with Shiny, with Fox, and with anyone else in that community we had because they played Destiny, and I no longer did. Now, that doesn't mean we stopped being friends. We kept in touch, but for me, it was like I was someone on the outside looking in. So I would go do my own thing for a while. I played games on my own, and I just lived my normal day-to-day life. Now, during this day-to-day life, I have a job to go to because, surprise, surprise, I'm an adult that has bills to pay. And at my job, I have to talk to a lot of people. Eventually, I start talking to someone who also loves video games, who also loves RPGs, and they mentioned the name Divinity Original Sin 2 and asked if I've heard of it. Naturally, I told them no, because at that time, I haven't. Nor did I look into it because this wouldn't be the first time somebody's recommended me something and it just wasn't my speed. Eventually, it would be brought up to me again for a second time, and then again for a third time, and after that, I had to check it out if 3 different people brought this one game up to me. So I looked it up, and I saw it for exactly what it was, a 4-player co-op turn-based RPG, and I immediately said, you know who would like this? Shiny Trophy. So I brought it up to him, and it didn't take him much to get interested. I told him it was a co-op turn-based game, and he said he was in. He convinced Fox to play it with us, we picked up a 4th from our friend group, and we were ready to go. Every weekend for the next few months, we would get together and go on this grand adventure together, laughing at each other, getting frustrated at each other, but more than anything else, triumphing with each other. Which is why Divinity Original Sin 2 will always have a place in my heart. It let me play with friends that at one time I wasn't able to because they chose to keep playing Destiny 2 while I chose to stop. Seeing us go from the beginning of the game to where we are powerless, we're weak, we're confused, we're barely surviving every fight, we don't really know what to do, to us becoming ultra powerful at the end, all with different combat styles. Words really can't justify the feeling of accomplishment we got from that. But more than that, it's the fact that we grew together. And the best part about playing games with your friends is you can create moments that will stay with you for a long time, if not a lifetime. For instance, throughout the entire playthrough of Divinity Original Sin 2, I always had money on me. I was never broke. I mean, I would have it in the hundreds when everyone else was in the tens. When they got to the hundreds, I was in the thousands. When they got to the thousands, I was in the tens of thousands. Through a combination of selling things we didn't need anymore, not buying things we didn't need at all, and stealing it, I made sure my pockets stayed heavy. And every 30 to 45 minutes, Shiny would just look at me and just ask if he can just have a couple thousand. And every time I'd ask him why, he would just say, I don't know why I need it, I just know that I need it. And every time I would tell him no and to get it out the mud like I did. This lasted the entire playthrough. The entire 100 plus hour run. And it culminated near the end of the game with this moment right here.
So if you want an idea, like a full stack of those things I had to buy was like 78,000.
Okay, so but you didn't give her all that. She's not the beneficiary of 78,000. She's the beneficiary of like 35 G's, right?
Is that how your math was? Sure.
Yeah. So how come? Do you know how much of your crying I had to listen to get 35 G's?
Yeah, because what did you need it for?
Did you
Every
cry?
time I asked you, what did you need it for?
Perry,
Every
did you
time
cry?
What did you need it for? You said, I don't know. I just need 10,000 gold. I don't know why I need it. I just know that I need it. I just give me some money.
I just want to be innocent, bro. I just want to be innocent.
And I don't know if you remember because you have selective memory, but every time you say, hey, I need it for this, so I either gave you the money or I just went and bought it for you and gave it to you.
Yeah, but
so
I had to listen to all this crying. Who wanna?
Because you never knew what you needed it for. If I walked up to you and said, give me $500, and you asked me why, and I said, I don't know, I just need $500, you would not give me $500.
Okay, all right. So let me tell you what's wrong with that statement, right? So, to be an equivalent situation, it would have to be World War III, right? Right? And me and you are special forces soldiers, right? And we're going in to buy our last bit of bullets before we go end World War III, right? And I walk in there with backpacks of money, just big duffel bags of money, right? I'm literally doing nothing. I'm literally doing nothing with this money, but just showing it off. Maybe these big duffel bags of money will stop bullets. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But it ain't. And then you ask me, like, can I buy, because I got this weak pistol, can I buy an assault rifle? And I'm like, no.
That's not what you did.
It is exactly what I did.
No, it's not. You said, just give me some money. What for? I don't know. Just give me some money.
We're at the end of World War III. I cannot take this money with me. So if you're like, hey, let me get one of them duffel bags of money.
Do you know why I didn't spend it then? So I can have it now, to spend it now.
You're not spending it now, you still crying. Just give me the money. Give me
I
the
just
money.
gave you 7,000.
You did not give me that money. You gave it to Perry.
I did.
And I've been listening to crying for the last 30 minutes.
He gave it to me by accident. He said that already.
Oh my god.
You don't get moments like that playing by yourself. If you are going to take anything away from this, let it be that you need to play games with your friends. It makes the entire run 10 times better, at least.
Here's the thing about superheroes that I think goes way over a lot of people's heads. The flashy costumes and powers don't mean anything. Superhero stories at their core are about having the bravery to stand up for those who can't stand up for themselves. You don't need to have been bitten by a radioactive spider or have sold your soul to the devil for the power to deliver vengeance. You just need to care enough to help. Fox and I feel that all the way to our core. We need help sometimes, and we don't always have friends or family willing or able to help. And we know so many others who are or who have been in the same boat. That's why when we are able, especially around the holidays, it's important to us that we give what we can to those in need. Sometimes it's our time, sometimes it's food or clothing, but there's always someone out there who needs it, and we gladly help where we can. So for us, a game where you play as members of the Bat family patrolling an open Gotham City, protecting citizens from neighborhood gangs and powered-up supervillains together? We absolutely love this game. Where the internet as a whole seemed to see filler and padding, we saw the street-level Bat family still mourning the loss in leadership of Bruce Wayne after his recent death, attempt to learn to fill his shoes and take on the criminals of Gotham. And Batman casts a long shadow. He has been fighting crime with unlimited resources and an unhealthy obsession for what seemed like his entire life. Batgirl, Robin, Red Hood, and Nightwing are not Batman, and joining them as they learn to take on this impossible challenge was incredible. The boss fights were fantastic. They were as bright and loud as you'd expect. But the moments in between, investigating crimes and doing the real street work Batman did every night, that's where we really fell in love with Gotham Knights. Because there's nothing glamorous about really helping. You don't do it because you need people to see you. You do it because it's the right thing to do. This lesson was also front and center of the next game we loved this year.
Sometimes it's not just people that need help. It can be very easy to overlook how fragile our partnership with the natural world really is. There are islands of trash in our oceans, pollutants poisoning the plants and animals that we depend on for food, and our insatiable hunger for easy energy is heating our entire planet and changing our climate worldwide. This affects every one of us, every day, and even if you want to help, it's hard to see where any one person can make a difference. And in comes adorable little Alba. This little game reminds you that it doesn't take much to show that you care, even while you're having fun. Alba and her grandparents' island's community love the natural beauty of their home and don't want it demolished to make way for a modern resort. She makes it her goal to help the residents of the community remember how vibrant their home really is when it's clean and the animals are thriving. She picks up trash on the beach, fixes broken down observatories, and catalogs the many native species so that the people can see how diverse and beautiful the ecosystem is. As a lover of birds myself, I could absolutely relate to Alba's fascination with these feathered beauties, and Trophy's love of any beat that bops had him similarly enamored with the chill Spanish guitar soundtrack. This game was relaxing and fun, but also shared a gorgeous message of conservation and responsibility that is very in line with how we try to live our lives. The responsibility to take care of our home, our planet, falls on all of us. If we all do our part and take just a little time to recycle or favor renewable energy sources, we can make a real difference around us. And every time I see Alba, with her cute animations bursting with a very bird-like energy of her own, I'm reminded of how caring about our home really matters. This game really helped us find our voice and realize that we want to incorporate more of what we care about into our work. Then along came
I used to absolutely love the Uncharted series. To me, the adventures of Nathan Drake and Elena Fisher were the perfect mix of action, suspense, history, and above all, humor. These games took the Indiana Jones archetype that was improved on with the Tomb Raider games and elevated it even further. But when I say I used to love the Uncharted series, I mean the first 3 games. Nothing against Naughty Dog or the direction that Druckmann has taken the studio, their success is well earned. But in those first 3 games, there was a formula that I thought worked great, which was a serious adventure mixed with a huge dose of levity, and just a tiny hint of the supernatural to keep things interesting. The humor really kept the mood light and fun despite the constant chaos erupting around Drake and all his friends. But when The Last of Us became the classic drama that it is, Uncharted took a very dark turn with its 4th game that I didn't vibe with. One of the things that we've struggled with on this channel has always been the fact that we tend not to agree with the internet at large on a lot of things. We know that's what gives us our unique voice, but it can feel like you're just yelling into the void when you're starting out and you haven't found or built the community in which you fit yet. Here, we are trying to build an actual community where discussion and discourse is encouraged so that you can learn from others' point of view even if you don't agree. We have met a few of these people and we hope that we continue to meet many more along our path. But we weren't always confident that this was the right direction to take our content. There's definitely a reason that most people take the path of least resistance. It's just smart business. That's why it took me so many years to even give The Lost Legacy a try, despite how much I love the series. I thought, if the direction Naughty Dog took Uncharted starting with Part 4 was what they really wanted to do, which is just smart business, I would be better off just skipping this one. The dark and overly serious tone is not for us, and that's fine. I would miss the good times I had in the original 3 games and just move on. I didn't know what finally got me to give The Lost Legacy a try, but oh my god, I'm glad I did. This game is absolutely incredible. It's the gameplay and beauty of Uncharted 4, but the spirit and humor of the previous 3 games. It has historical mysteries and intricate puzzles. It has explosive action set pieces and some of the most gorgeous environments in any game. The banter between Chloe and Nadine, especially in the quieter moments, was endlessly entertaining. I finished this game with a big smile on my face. The game was clearly made by people at Naughty Dog who felt the same way I did about the direction the series was heading in. They didn't want to only do what was working for them and create yet another ultra-dark The Last of Us drama, even if that would have been the most commercially viable thing to do. They wanted to use their voice to create something that was unique to them, and they did. Even with the 2 main characters, Nathan and Elena, completely missing from the story, they managed to create the best game in the whole series. It was the right game, and it came along at exactly the right time for me to really take in everything that it had to offer. In its own little way, it helped our channel find the confidence to love what maybe only we love, and share our own unique voice. And one of those games that we seem to love much more than most was
There's nothing super extraordinary about Atlas Fallen. It's a third-person melee action game, the kind that used to be everywhere 10 years ago but isn't as common these days. Think Darksiders, or Bayonetta, or Infamous. This game is lighter on story than those games, but it's also not as linear, providing you with huge levels that you are free to roam around in and explore in any way you'd like. Of course, where you can go is dependent on what skills you have acquired, but you can go that those skills are not whenever you are ready. The story is alright, with its very basic plot and characterizations, but if you pay attention, the world, the people you meet, and the way they interact with each other just may surprise you. It certainly surprised us. On top of that, the game features the best co-op system in an action game that we've seen. You share progress whether you are standing right next to each other or are adventuring separately all the way across the map, which is really useful and important because I love to wander off. I see something shiny or interesting in the distance and I will abandon trophy at the drop of a hat to go explore. And yes, I will yell at him for doing the same thing to me. He knows what he signed up for by being my player too. So, this game gave us the freedom to wander off, explore, discover secrets, and complete side quests separately while recording progress for both players, and that's something we had never seen before and hope to see way more of in the future. Throughout this year, we have experimented with what games we should cover and how. Even though the Ramen Spot owes its creation to Destiny, we didn't want to be the type of channel that lives and dies by one game. We wanted to find our people and be able to talk about all the things that are important to us. We are the type of people to enjoy all different types of games. Some of those games, like Atlas Fallen, are not the new hotness, and that makes our creations really unfriendly to the social media algorithms, but that's okay. We also really loved Exoprimal much more than the internet as a whole. We thought the unique way the story was delivered, the fun PvE/VP gameplay, and especially the sweet android companion Sandy to be very well done. We came to accept that what we find that we love about the games that we play doesn't often align with what the internet has decided they think, and that's okay. The people that do love these games deserve to be part of the gamer community too, and we try to present our point of view and talk about what we found great about these games. It doesn't matter to us that there isn't anything particularly remarkable about Atlas Fallen and that it hasn't won any awards. We love it. We want to share why. Those are the types of videos we like to watch when we are enjoying YouTube or looking for thoughts on a game we might want to try. Enjoying Atlas Fallen so much helped us to be okay with just being us and sharing the things that we love. The algorithm hates us for that though, and that's okay.
So many things happened in the world this year. People passed away, wars started, the wealthiest nations in the world are full of people who would rather stuff their own pockets than help those that need it. Good people are doing and saying nothing to help. We fight this fight every day in our own small way. We can't help everyone, but if we can, you best believe we will. And as we go about living and learning and trying to be better, we see people along the same path get burnt out and disillusioned constantly. It's a marathon. It's never ending, and it wears on you. It can make you feel guilty for taking time for yourself, but listen, you have to take time. That's the healthy way to maintain. The Finals here is a great multiplayer shooter that launched at the end of the year. It surprised us all with its beautiful graphics, classic Battlefield DNA, and above all else, it's just fun. Fox doesn't normally go for shooters like this, but guess what? This woman plays this game with a big smile on her face. She just can't help it. So take it from Fox's smile. Remember to take time for yourself and just have fun. You don't need to escape. Lord knows a lot of us have no way to escape those things that we fight against every day. But you can take some time for yourself to relax and recharge and do something just because it feels good. Please take that time.
I'd like the record to state that I started playing this game on day 1 and I still haven't finished it. I like to blame it on the Joy-Con stick drift. Let us know in the comments if you share the struggle. And life, a little bit. However, I love this game. It feels like a true sequel to Breath of the Wild. The in-game mechanics and quality of life elements were improved on every level. This is the first Legend of Zelda story that actually made me cry, and I'm talking about a sad cry, with real tears, pun not intended. At the same time, like its predecessor, this game is filled with the freedom of choice on what to do, so I can do just chill activities if I want to, and I can take as long as I want to actually advance in the story and the combat. And I don't even have to be a mechanical engineer to do things. The truth is, I'm really bad at combat, so I keep procrastinating at getting good by doing menial activities, and I still haven't even been able to kick a Frox's slimy butt into oblivion, but hey, I completely skipped through the Fire Temple's puzzles by wall climbing, so that's neat, huh? Back on track. I love this game, and I love that I can play it the way I want. Also, beautiful visuals, beautiful music, beautiful NPCs, beautiful everything. This game deserves every award it has received. Speaking of games that have received awards,
the Ramen Spot first set foot in Faerun on September 6th of this year. For the next 108 hours on weekends over the next 4 months, 4 friends would set out on an adventure in a world we knew nothing about. This is not hyperbole, we were completely blind. No early access, no previews, no guides. We chose a class, but we had no idea what it could do. I wanted to walk an honorable path, but also slap anybody who dared disrespect, so I had to be a monk. Fox's furry love made Druid the only choice. Isaiah wanted to be the classic hero, so you know he went paladin. He would break his oath later, and man, that's a whole other thing. We explored every path, talked to every person we met, and when there was a choice, we made that choice based on what we would actually do. We took turns leading the party and making big decisions, and we didn't always agree. But when the consequences came, good or bad, we faced them together. Baldur's Gate 3 is a true role-playing game. Everything about it is top tier, as I'm sure you've heard from literally everyone on the internet. The world and people are beautiful. The build crafting and combat is one of a kind. Every character has their own story, their own motivations, and it matters to them what choices you make. Enemies can become allies and vice versa. But for us, the biggest triumph is the actual role-playing. The game has so much choice in how you respond to situations that you find yourself in, that 4 people with widely varying personalities can play together and are never led to do anything that they wouldn't choose to do on their own. Example, our party encountered a vampire lord at one point. This man had lured thousands of people into his lair and turned them into vampires, but kept them locked up for centuries, to the point that they beg you to kill them when you come across their prison. These are innocents, but they're still vampires. The choice is yours. Do you leave them there to thirst for eternity? Do you grant their wish and kill them in order to ease their suffering? Or do you let them free, risking that these vampires will feast on the innocents in the world above?
The vampire lord is no more, but his legacy remains. 7,000 vampires spawned.
Release them.
The stolen children of the Gur hunters. What will
Now,
you do with them all?
think about it. If they release, the motherfuckers is hungry.
True.
So
Y'all vote on
none
what
of
y'all
them-
think.
Yeah, here's the thing. My reasoning.
Mhm.
None of them said they wanted to live.
Oh, that's true.
No, the guy that he talked to first said he did not want to die down here.
Sebastian? Yeah.
He also
But
said
was
he didn't.
like-
He also said he didn't know what he wanted.
Yeah, like none of them were like, I really want to live, please let me live. They were more like, I don't want to hurt
Well,
people.
the kids were like, please kill me. And I said that I can save them. And then they had hope. You know what I mean? Hope to be able to live.
Why would you do that?
Because I'm the hero.
Oh,
There was no moral dilemma until you made them a promise.
Look, this all I know, right? Yes, I can set them free. And that's 7,000 free vampires. in the
Exactly.
world.
That's
Right?
7,000
Listen.
free
That's
vampires.
more than the world's population in this game.
Listen to me.
There's nothing
I have
to
no
listen
trouble
to.
slapping vampires. You know what I'm saying? So
Wow,
I'll
so
just.
you just
No, here's the thing. Why would you release them for sport?
I'm not releasing them for sport. Everybody
Who is that,
deserves the
like?
chance to live.
I
Even
get it, but
blood-sucking,
they're not-
hideous vampires.
Yeah, except these
Uh,
are
I-
already dead.
Yeah,
They're
everyone,
undead.
everyone deserves to live,
You-
except all the people that they would feast on if they
Go, go talk to them kids and
No.
tell them. Look into their
Alright.
little eyes and
You know
tell
what?
them.
I will. Squeak, squeak, motherfucker. I will.
I'm telling y'all right now. Unless y'all give me a reason, I'm about to set them free.
I just gave you a reason.
If Astarion is still alive and he's been feeding on Perry's and pigs,
Oh no! Wait.
why be?
If you use the staff to destroy them, you will kill Astarion too.
you know,
Well, logic says you would. I don't like that. How can I talk to these children?
I don't know. Maybe they're scared of an owlbear. I don't know. I'm just saying they can eat animals. They can be decent people who contribute to society.
And
You know what I'm
how
saying?
do you know that?
We
How do you-
don't.
they-
We're gonna have to
they
slap some of
can't.
them, obviously.
Wait a second. Hold on. I talked to one of the Capri Suns,
Mhm.
and she's saying that she won't. Her boobs are very distracting, but
I feel you.
She won't what?
She's saying that she won't bother their surface, and they'll find a place in the Underdark and find creatures to feed on, and that they won't feed on the people in the up in Baldur's Gate. But this is just one person.
See, and she got them things out. She ain't got nothing to hide.
Romantic and respectful.
So I'm about to let them free.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
well,
do
these
what
guys,
you want.
I didn't realize that would let them go. They're all leaving. Yeah, all the topless people. Okay. Honestly, I think we should.
Nothing remains now.
I know it's just one
Consider
person, but like
all
she said that
machinations and
she's not gonna
but
feed on the
dust.
people upstairs.
This is 6 people, but yes.
In the end, even though we didn't all agree, I made the decision to let the vampires free. I couldn't let them be down there hungry and forgotten. Gone are the days of the games telling you this is the heroic choice, so this is the only one you have available, like early RPGs did. Even the binary choice of later RPGs, where you have a good choice and a bad choice, are gone. Instead of making it obvious which choices are good or evil, Baldur's Gate 3 just gives you all the possible choices and lets you work out which is right for you. These choices can often be good for some and bad for others, just like choices in real life most often are, but you have to choose. And there are so many of these all throughout this game's 100 hours. Being confronted with these hard choices and doing the best we can along with the people we've bled with over this adventure, that's the closest I've ever come to going on a fantasy journey myself. And if I was actually gonna do something like that, these would be the same people that I'd want having my back. To be able to experience Divinity 2 and then right afterwards, Baldur's Gate 3 with Fox and Isaiah has been the most perfect gaming experience since sleepovers and summer vacations as a kid. Larian's last 2 games are goated. Indisputable all-time gaming classics. That's why Baldur's Gate 3 is the Ramen Spot Game of the Year and why we will never forget our time with it.
The Ramen Spot has some big goals for 2024. Nothing like getting a certain amount of subscribers or anything like that. We want to put out the best content we can, the content that we like to see, and have meaningful conversations with interesting people. We want to live and learn, and hopefully we will have some really good, really huge news to share on our next year-end video. What could that be? You'll have to tune in to find out. We also want to thank you, whether you're brand new here, and in that case, welcome, or if you've been riding with us since the beginning. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you for watching, listening, and discussing with us. Tell us in the comments below, how was your year in gaming 2023? See you next year. Hehe.